Hey everybody, it's Evan Easton. The artist I'm about to cover in this video needs no introduction. She recently released her new album Hit Me Hard and Soft, and in this video I'm going to be showing you how we can produce the song Birds of a Feather. I recently heard this song on the radio and I thought it was beautiful, so without any further ado, let's get into it. Alright, so right now we're in Ableton. The song tempo is in 105 beats per minute, and I'm actually going to be starting off with the drums. So I'm going to be opening up a copy of Drum Rack, put that on a MIDI clip. So I'm going to look for similar kick and snare samples, sort of acoustic sounding. The snare sounds a bit too long, so I'm going to shorten it. I'm going to turn down the velocity sensitivity a bit. I'm going to turn up the volume. So let's record the pattern. Let's quantize this. Alright, so to split these drums up, I'm actually gonna drag the kick and snare separately onto my tracks. So now I've got my kick on a separate MIDI channel as well as my snare. So just for convenience sake, I'm going to freeze these tracks, flatten them, and now they're converted to audio. Next, I'm going to record the main tambourine loop you hear throughout the track, and I'm going to record this through a stereo pair. I'm going to warp this. I'm also going to add a tambourine hit on every 1 and 3. I'm actually going to process the snare, transient master by Native Instruments. Add some more attack, some EQ, because the snare in the original song is pretty soft. And some saturation, like the saturation knob or soft tube. I'm going to put some reverb on the tambourine loop. Next, I'm going to group all of my drums. I'm going to be adding some room reverb. To make it sound a bit more realistic. Some extra saturation, Fab Filter Saturn. Clean tube setting. Alright, so next I'm going to make the bell sound you hear throughout the whole track. This is basically the main motive. And for this, I'm going to be using the TAL Geno 106 emulation. Okay, so I'm going to turn off the sub. I'm going to decrease the cutoff here, so it's adding a low pass filter. I'm gonna pull the sustain all the way down, increase the decay, increase the release a bit. Okay, so I'm going to record the main motive here. Quantize that. I'm going to duplicate that and put this one up 1 octave. I'm going to group these and add some external processing. RC20 to add some thickness and wobble. Some reverb, Valhalla Vintage Verb. And some delay. So for the pad synth that sits underneath the main bell motive, I'm going to be using another copy of TAL's Juno emulation. Again, I'm going to turn off the sub, I'm going to low pass it, increase the attack quite a bit, and turn on the second chorus. Alright, so I'm going to duplicate this, make it 8 bars. Let's record. So for the chords, we're in the key of D major, and this song uses a 1-6-2-5 progression. So it starts with the 1, which is D major, and it goes to B minor 7, which then goes to a E minor 7, and then ends with A major 7. All right, just to fill this up, I'm going to be using a sub bass. For this, I'm going to be adding a stock Ableton instrument. It's called Basic Subsine. And I'm just going to simply drag this over and use the root notes of all the chords. Lower that 1 octave. Alright, so now I'm going to add some external processing to the pad synth. I'm going to darken it up with some EQ. I'm going to add some compression, make it a bit more upfront. Some vibrato. And to widen it up, I'm just going to add a copy of Doubler by Waves. I'm going to kill the middle and then group this, make a dry track. Darken the bell sound a bit more. So as the song builds up, bass guitar comes in playing the root notes. For this, I'm going to be recording my bass guitar going through an amp. Alright, so now I'm going to be adding some external processing, going to be adding CLA bass. Alright, so I'm gonna duplicate these 8 bars. And in the chorus, an acoustic guitar actually comes in. So I'm gonna be recording my acoustic guitar, just playing the main chords of the synth pad. Compression, saturation, Alright guys, this was my recreation of Birds Like a Feather inside of Ableton. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and stay tuned for the next one. Thanks for watching.